everybody, welcome back to, of course, another episode of Sport Federation TV, where every week we take a look at what's happening in the world of sport in the Western Cape. We've got a nice show for you this evening. We're going to catch up with some of the nominees and winners from the recent Western Cape Sport Awards, and we'll bring you some of the interviews that you might have missed last week. In studio with me now to get the ball rolling, we're speaking cycling to get started. Ethan and Ulrich Coulson, father and son pair that have certainly made the headlines. Western Cape, South Africa, Africa, world cycling. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, JP.
Ethan, you seem so quiet. Is this a TV? Are you so used to TV now? Or where do you fit into the world of media now that you've made such a big name for yourself?
The interviews are getting a bit normal now.
Yeah?
That's weird at first, but now we're getting into things slowly.
Yeah, are you getting TV or newspapers or what?
It's more newspaper and radio interviews now, but this is my first TV interview though.
Your first one, yeah. But now you've won a couple. Ulrich, let's start with you. You've been in the world of cycling obviously for a long time, and we've seen endless amount of awards go in your way. You're obviously very used to this high performance environment now.
Yeah, but it's still very interesting, and it's good to see how riders react, and when they get to a level that he is at the moment. Yeah,
does it change? Do you have to stay on top of things? Is it just
it changes a lot. In the beginning, I always thought, well, I've been a cyclist all my life, so I know everything, and then I realized, but actually I know just a little bit, and I've got to keep on studying, and I've got to keep on reading to stay on top of everything.
Ethan, so I've been around to the track there where I've seen you cycle at the velodrome. This looks for us like a very disciplined sport. You seem to have set patterns and a set routine. Is that what your life is all about now?
Yeah, at the moment it's discipline in our sport is key, because if you're not going to keep doing what you're supposed to do, you're not going to get anywhere really.
What do you think is it that makes the difference between the first and second place or everybody else that's out there?
I mean, at this age of cycling, it would be marginal gains. It's the smallest thing. It can be the width of your tire, what you ate before the race. Do you keep hydrated? All depends. Even 1, 2, 3 grams of carbohydrates can make that little difference over a long distance.
And what about your bike? Some people say it's all about the bike.
I wouldn't say it's all about the bike, but the bike plays a key role. So if you don't have the equipment, you're not going to be able to perform at the world stage anymore.
Do you have more than one bike? I mean, what happens if you get a flat tire?
On the road, you have spare wheels. So if you get a flat tire, we hope your mechanic can do a good enough job and change your wheel quickly. Yeah. On the track, it's the same, but it takes a bit longer, because instead of on the road bike, you have a quick release to get the wheel out. But on the track, you have nuts and bolts to keep the wheel in. So
when you're on the road, because I've seen you guys when you're on the track. On the track, you've got your father there, Ulrich, and you guys have got the support teams inside the track. And when you get on the bike, someone's holding the bike. When you leave, someone's there to receive you. When you're on the road, is there a car traveling with you? Ulrich, maybe you jump in here.
Yeah, we have a car. We have a team car that follows the riders with spare wheels, extra nutrition, and so on. But it gets quite wild sometimes, especially if it's raining. If it's raining, it's a different situation. But yeah, we have a car following.
Are you able to speak to the cyclists? I mean, is that one of the things that
no, unfortunately, radios are not allowed anymore. Yeah. So we've got to look at hand signs, so you can't go sightseeing when the race is on. You've got to keep your eye on the race itself.
So, Ethan, for you, what has been your toughest competition to date? I mean, you've been doing this now for a long time. Is it road cycling? Is it track cycling? What's the toughest for you guys?
I think for me the toughest is track cycling, because nowadays the speed is getting so high. At the World Champs in Colombia this year, we averaged about 57 kilometers per hour for a 10K scratch race.
Wow. So what is a scratch race?
A scratch race, basically first one across the line wins.
First, and how many times around the track?
That's about 60 laps.
60 laps.
Yeah.
And so it's basically start, go for 60 laps and
Then
first one wins.
Yeah.
All right. And Ethan, I mean, Ulrich, for one of the things, of course, that was notable was when COVID was here, you guys didn't stop. You carried on training. I remember we did a few online interviews with you. You had a number of your athletes training on their bikes at home. Has that digital migration, is that still the case? Everything's very digital?
Yes, it's still the case. We do use a lot of, these, we call it the smart trainers these days.
Yeah.
Especially when we do intervals and when we do our tests, because then the environment that you train in or do the testing is exactly the same every time.
Yeah.
If you go out on the road, you might go out into the wind or with the wind and so on, but when we do it on the trainer, the environment stays the same.
Do the athletes have to send you the information, or how do you keep a record of them?
They send the information. Some of them are very reluctant,
Yeah.
but there's a couple of apps on that you just put on your phone and you can log into it and see exactly how they trained, how far they rode, what was the average speed and so on.
So, Ethan, with you've got your dad right next to you all the time. You can't hide away.
No, I can't hide anything.
Yeah. Does he wake you up in the morning and say, let's go?
Yeah, and it gets early some days.
Yeah.
Really early.
What about the rest of your support team? I mean, for you to be a successful cyclist is much more than just getting on the bike. You obviously have to think about your nutrition. You have to think about your sleep. I believe you don't sleep much. Or does he play a lot of computer games and things like? No time?
They're all computer crazy, these youngsters.
Who else have you got with you behind the scenes? Because obviously these things take a lot of people to help you on the bike.
Yeah. So we've got Lange Sports and DSV Shift Academy, who's been a big role player in my success over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because they've brought along nutrition sponsors, they've brought along things we didn't have. So it's a much bigger support system now than what it was, say, 2 years back.
Yeah. And your schoolmates and that, are they aware of your success?
Yeah, they're aware. The school really supported me a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was away for a month and they accommodated me with schoolwork and everything. So I'd have to say thank you to my school for that.
Do you do some schoolwork when you're on the road?
Yeah, while I'm traveling, I'll try and do some schoolwork.
Yeah. What's next now, Ulrich, from a competition point of view? I mean, you guys have just won the Western Cape Sport Awards, nominated both of you at multiple levels. And we know that the South African Sport Awards comes up next. But for you guys, from a competition point of view, what comes up next?
Well, from a competition point of view, I think the next big event will be Paarl Boxing Day.
Oh, right.
It's our home event in Paarl. Everybody goes crazy from that last week in December in Paarl, cycling-wise. And then after that, there's the Continental Championships. I think it's going to be in Egypt.
Egypt again,
and SA Track Champs in end of March. That'll be in Port Elizabeth. For Ethan, we've managed to negotiate a deal with a team in Germany that he will join in end of April, and he will stay there until end of September doing some international races.
Have you now started practicing your German yet, Ethan?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
I'd say track cycling.
Track cycling?
Yeah.
And have you got any other guys that are going with you, or are you going solo?
I'm going solo.
You're going solo. You're looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I know it's short and sweet, but I think it's always important that we give you guys as much publicity as possible. And congratulations again on all your awards. Certainly flying the flag high for Western Cape.
Thank you, JP. Thank you very much.
And Ethan, we're going to catch up with you soon.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go, folks. Father and son team here. Ethan and Ulrich Coulson. Of course, by now you know both their names. We've been talking about them for such a long time. And wow, how fantastic is it for us to have this level of success in the Western Cape, and our high performance coaches and athletes really coming through the ranks and flying the flag for us. But of course, for both of them, this is not the first time. We've seen it many times. We're looking forward to the progress going forward. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on Talk Sport in the Province. Don't go away.